The recovery is not good. That's why people believe there's going to be quantitative easing 3 or something is going to happen, and it will obviously be a huge boost for precious metals, diamonds, hard assets. But anyway, to give you an idea on the real estate market and how long this potentially could go for, a backlog of cases gives a reprieve on foreclosure. Millions of homeowners in distress are getting some unexpected breathing room, and in New York State, it would take lenders 62 years at the current pace to get through all the foreclosures. Think about it, 62 years. That's the longest time frame in the United States. And they're actually saying as well that clearing the pipeline to New Jersey, which like New York handles foreclosures through the courts, would take 49 years. In Florida, Massachusetts, and Illinois, it would take a decade. You can buy a home in Detroit, some homes, and granted these aren't beautiful homes, but you can buy a home for only $100. That's right, $100. But Harold, we bring up real estate because it does factor into precious metals. Until the housing market comes back, which I think it could take decades, until that market comes back, the United States is going to have a tough time, and we're starting to see that show up in the jobs numbers, and it just the housing market has huge ramifications for the United States economy. And when you have people waiting 62 years to be foreclosed on, this thing could go on for a long, long time.
It is, and again, it's a very scary situation, as you brought up, because most people have most of their equity in their home, so most of their net worth is in their home, and everything is great because in the U.S. especially, they love to spend money, and they love to take credit, and they like to buy things on credit, and that's what the government really pushed everybody to do by keeping interest rates low and all that. And when real estate prices were rising substantially, people were using their homes as a ATM machine type of thing, and now that their home values have plummeted, most Americans feel poor. They had homes that they paid $250 for. They were up to $600,000-$700,000. They were feeling rich, and everything is great, and life is fantastic, and your stocks are doing great, and everything's going well. And then all of a sudden, something happens and things change, and now your $800,000 home not only falls back to the $250 that you paid for it, but is now worth $100,000, and you still got a big mortgage on it. So that's the problem with the U.S. real estate market, is that people are feeling very poor. They've lost most of their money in their homes. They speculated and lost all their money. And don't forget, most of the jobs in the United States revolve around the real estate market, either a mortgage broker, a real estate salesman, a builder, things like that. And, people just aren't working. It's a horrible situation, and it's going to continue to get worse. And, again, I'm a Canadian living in Florida, and Florida is one of the areas that got hit the worst. There's homes here that were $1 million that are now $200,000-$300,000.
Simply amazing. Simply amazing. To invest in precious metals, the telephone number 1-866-623-2002, 1-866-623-2002. The website is wwpmc.com, wwpmc.com. Harold's website for diamonds, investment diamonds, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. The telephone number 1-800-432-1022, 1-800-432-1022. You can get the newsletter from Harold or worldwide. It is a must-read this week. In fact, take a look at the jobs section of the newsletter, because there's a report put out by the U.S. Conference of Mayors that predicts some cities may not get back to the employment they had prior to the financial meltdown until 2020 or 2021 or even later, if you can believe that. There's some serious problems in the United States. Harold, we have about 30 seconds left. I think now is the time for hard assets. Everything seems to be pointing in that direction.
You bet. Again, these times are extremely confusing and dangerous. My strongest recommendations are be conservative. Keep your assets very close to you. That's why we recommend gold, silver, and diamonds. And again, we'll get through these difficult times. And again, as I always say, 90% of the money is made by 10% of the people. As long as we're in that 10%, we're fine. I wish everybody a wonderful weekend and a very profitable day.
Thank you, Harold. To invest in precious metals, only one company that Harold recommends, Worldwide Precious Metals. Their website, wwpmc.com, wwpmc.com. Telephone number 1-866-623-2002. You can get our free weekly newsletter from them. Rarecoloreddiamonds.com for diamonds. Speak with Harold at 1-800-432-1022. That's it. Another edition of the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall. We will talk to you next week.